This time, like 25 years I've been high and low.
And the world's got me dizzy again. You think after 22 years I'd be used to the spin, and it only feels worse when I stay in one place. So I'm always pacing around or walking away, and I keep drinking the ink from my pen, and I'm balancing history books up on my head. But it all boils down to one quotable phrase: if you love something, give it away. Got me dizzy again. You think after 22 years I'd be used to the spin, but it all boils down to one quotable phrase: if you love something, give it away.
Grateful, 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 yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jesus, Buddha, Jah, or Allah. Please insert wherever you believe in. Celebrating this abundance season. Thank you for the setbacks on the way up. Thank you for the stories that they made up. Thank you for my know-it's all that's worth the blue. The deep blue sea can't fuck with me. Love for you and love for you and you and you. We only human, we deserve it. Trauma for you and love for you and you and you. We only human, we deserve it. Trauma. Grateful, 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 yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jesus, Buddha, Jah, or Allah. Please insert wherever you believe in. Celebrating this abundance season. Thank you for the setbacks on the way up. Thank you for the stories that they made up. Thank you for my know-it's all that's worth the blue. The deep blue sea can't fuck with me. Grateful, 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 yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jesus, Buddha, Jah, or Allah. Please insert whatever you believe in. Celebrating this abundance season. Thank you for the setbacks on the way.
Hey everyone, mic check. Can you hear me? Nice. How's everyone doing? Doing good? So, today I have kind of a script that I'm going to go on. This is probably going to take, I don't know, an hour, maybe 2 hours. And then I'm going to open up live Q&A at the end. So I won't be checking chat too much as I'm going, just so that I don't get distracted. Kind of the idea is that at the end of this, I'm going to cut sections of this stream up from the recording. So we'll have a few different videos for things like the live page, the reports page, and other upcoming features that we'll be talking about. With that said, I think the thing that I'm going to do first is kind of dive in to what's being launched today. That way, if anyone is here for that and you want to catch the rest of the recording later in sections or watch the whole thing in whole, we can be respectful of your time in that way, and you can get, the new stuff now and then watch the rest of it on your own time later. So with that said, where is profit? There it is. Okay. So today we are rolling out the new Pro plan, which is live on the website now. And if you weren't here at the last stream, I'll just kind of recap what the Pro plan is, kind of what the thinking is, why we're launching it. Essentially, to be transparent and brief, we are building and releasing more features than we can really take pause and try to figure out what to charge for individually. Initially, the plan was to kind of have Profitable be a base subscription that you could then add onto, so you would have like live data, and then if you wanted to automate, you could add on something else, and if you wanted to do options on top of that, you could add on something else. And so that way we could, keep the base price low, but then let people still have the features that they want, because we don't want to limit Profitable by what it can offer by its price point. The problem with that so far is we can't really figure out what the price of each thing individually should be, and so we're gonna get there, but in the interim, I think what I'm seeing is a lot of demand for some of the tools that are being built. A lot of people are asking for access to them, and I don't currently have any path to give access until all those things get solved. So the Pro plan is the path that we're currently offering. It's a higher price tier, but it would be an all access tier to everything that Profitable is building. It would turn on every feature flag. It would have futures and options access. In the future, when stocks data comes as well, it would have access to that. When MBO data gets enrolled, it would have access to that. So it's an all access plan. It's going to operate the same way as the launch plan did, which is the price that it's launched at now would be the price that you're locked in at. And if it goes up in the future because of more features, too many users, you name whatever it would be, if you're in now, you would be locked in. And then in the future, the price would be whatever it is. Speaking of the launch plan did sunset this past weekend. So I announced last week it would be the last chance to get in on the launch plan. That's been in there since, I think, November or October. We were going to sunset it in January, and like on January 15th when the site actually launched. So it was extended quite a ways to give people time to get in. The launch plan was also the same way. It was $79 a month. Once you were in, you were locked into that price. If you canceled your plan after being subscribed once, you're still locked into that price. If you renew, you're renewing at that price, not the new price that went live today, which is $99 a month. So that's the new price moving forward for anyone who's never subscribed before. Anyone that has subscribed before is grandfathered into the old price. Yeah, so that's the pricing updates that went live today. So I'll quickly kind of show, I guess, what the Pro plan would unlock that a live user is not currently having. So there are two main features that are going live immediately with the Pro plan that I have had the most demand for. One of them is an options suite. So I think one of the things to call out about the Pro Plan features is that all of these features are marked in beta because they're in beta. They're still being actively developed. And so the options features are still in development. It's not like visually perfect, but we're still working on keeping the progress moving forward, but also like the data needs to be kind of checked as we're moving. And the problem with the options feature is it can only be worked on while market hours are open and options are flowing. Otherwise, the data we're looking at is stale or outdated, and I can't tell if it's actually working or not. So it does have like both a heat map feature and sort of a Trinity view for SPXW, SPY, and QQQ. These should be updating in real time. They show you, different information per price point. It shows you timelines at the bottom for each one. The last time I tried to do it, the replay wasn't working on Sunday. I don't know if it is now. It's probably not because I haven't had a chance to even look at it. But I have had this working in the past that you would be able to go back to any day and replay the entire session. You'd be able to see how prices, how price moved throughout the day. And you can do the same thing here on this heat map, or at least you can when it's working. It would show you, again, like how everything reacted throughout the day, how the strategy changed throughout the day, snapshots, everything. It also has a screener, so you would be able to add additional symbols to this. Right now, it's just kind of a basic screener, but it's a proof of concept showing that we can stream all options data to it. And then, and there's also like Gex and Vex values. So if you're looking for Gex levels or Vex levels, it has both of those. You can also switch this to different symbols. It's supposed to be supporting gold and silver, but oh no, there it goes. It told me for a minute there was no data, but then it loaded in. Guess it was just a little slow. So yeah, still working on it. We will be adding more information or more symbols, more information, and trying to make sure the data is accurate. It also has a chain, an options chain. As you can see, this information is updating in real time. So every price point is being updated in real time. You can go to different contract expiration dates, and everything will be updating. You have IV surface charts. I don't know. I haven't actually had a lot of time to look into this yet to see if this is working, but there are like kind of like some templated strategies. So you can come in and you can like pick which symbol you were thinking about, doing what on what date for what expiration, and it can kind of calculate like how that would have worked out for you. So if you want to kind of like backtest some of these template strategies against options, that's there. I will continue to build that out. But to be honest, that's not entirely for the users. This is kind of being surfaced as just kind of a control for a functionality that exists. This functionality is more for the agent to be able to backtest and run different strategies. So this being here is mostly just to give you manual controls of this, but I don't really expect a lot of people are going to go in here and use this because the agent will do it much better for you. And the agent will be the next thing that we're going to go through. And so there are different overlays for this. Like you have the different levels. You have, I'm not seeing some of them, like air pockets. Danger zone doesn't seem to be, oh wait, there it is. Looks like some of these might be stuck. But yeah, this is supposed to have different like patterns, confluences, danger zones, air pockets, different stuff being rendered on the heat maps, so you can kind of see. I've actually seen it work in real time. It's kind of neat when it bounces off of one of these nodes, and there's like an air pocket. Price will just kind of move really rapidly, like right through it. So it's kind of neat to see how that works sometimes. I've also seen these levels on this heat map hold pretty well. So for example, these levels are being fed now to the live page. There's this toolbar up here that would be coming in as a pro user as well. I will probably make this not something quite so like separate. I will probably integrate it into this or something. But anyway, it brings in those levels from the heat map, and it shows you kind of like where lying interest is on the options. And so I have also seen a lot of times where price movement just comes right up to where one of these levels are, and then comes back down, and it'll just come right back up and hit another level that's back here. It's kind of hard to see sometimes. I'm going to make them brighter on this chart view, because usually the only thing that's showing up bright enough are these like way up here. And these red zones are those are the danger zones. So that's kind of showing you that, if we came back down and, hit into this zone, I guess like we did today. To be honest, I have not been watching the charts today. I've been too busy. So, like today, it kind of shows you that once we come back up into this zone, there's a good chance that we're just going to consolidate inside of this danger zone, because we've hit this high level of interest, and now we're bouncing back down between this high level of interest. So it was kind of cool. I actually saw this last night when we opened. We came back down. We held this level, and then I pretty much went to bed. But when I woke up this morning, I actually saw we were bouncing off this high, and I was like, oh, I bet we're going to consolidate all day. So I didn't trade, didn't watch the charts. This is not the kind of trading day I would be wanting to trade. But so those levels will be coming with the pro plan. And again, options are one of those things where we are going to roll that out as an add-on to the we are going to roll that out as an add-on to the starter plan. But I don't know what the cost of that is going to be. The reason is because it requires a completely separate data stream for options, and if we're charging $99 a month for the future stream, I don't know what we're charging for the options stream. Probably not that full $99 again. But it will, it will probably be in that range, like 79 to 99, I would guess. And I think that's about it for the options. Let me see if I had anything else that I wanted to cover on the options suite. Nope. I think I'm good on options. I'm going to check chat real quick and see if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to show. All right. Will this be in the $79 plan? The options? No, because it's a completely new offering. It's the $79 plan is only futures data currently, and includes the live charts. The options feed is completely separate. Did my camera freeze? Oh. Well, that's not going to help my recording. Dude, I hate technology. Okay. Screw it. Go with this then. Okay. All right. So I think the next thing I would be going through is the agent. The agent is, I think one of the things that I'm most excited about. Yeah. All right. So this, I think, is what I've been working toward since probably like June or July of last year. Those of you who have been in Baron's Discord and have seen kind of the progress and the like sort of the journey that I've been on, I have wanted to do automated trading for a while. I've tried it a few different ways. I've hit some roadblocks with those different ways. One of the things that I tried early on was automation through TradingView. There's a few different ways that you can do automation through TradingView. I think the most common is the webhook method. I've never used edgeful algos, but if I had to bet money, I would say that their setup probably has you set up a webhook to send to their platform from TradingView, and that's how things get executed. And again, I'm just guessing. Never seen it, never used it. Flying blind on that comment, so could be wrong. Another service I've used is something like Pick My Trade, or I think the website is like pickmy.trade. And you can pretty much do that exact same thing, except without paying $300 a month for the strategy in TradingView. You can take any TradingView strategy and then set it to a webhook, and then have that webhook fire to a service like Pick My Trade. And for $30 a month, you can very easily forward your automated strategies straight to Trade-of-8 and have it trade your prop firms. So that is something I have done before successfully. So why am I not just running like 30 bots that way? The problem that I ran into was that from my discovery, TradingView's servers are not up to speed for handling that many webhooks. It wasn't made for trading outside of the platform. It's made for you to execute on the charts and for it to go straight to the broker, but the webhooks require an individual call from the server to happen when your condition is met and the conditions are running on their servers, and it's not built for it. It's not keeping up with the demand. And so what happened to me was I would often have executions not arrive, or arrive very late, or sometimes arrive. And so the problem that created for me was that if I was running automation, I would literally have to just sit at my computer and watch it trade, because every time I heard TradingView go ding, I had to make sure that an execution was fired. And then if I heard something get closed, I had to make sure an execution was fired, that it closed it. And too many times I would watch the trade hit TP and the execution get delayed or not arrive at all, and the trade would just turn right back around on it because either TradingView didn't fire it, the webhook didn't make it to pick my trade, or whatever. I have no idea, because all of that is behind their servers and I can't see it. It just didn't show up. And so that wasn't a good solution for me for automating. And then the next solution was something like NinjaTrader, which I had some success with, but you have to have NinjaTrader running on your machine 24/7. You have to have a constant internet connection. And honestly, I just didn't like writing NinjaTrader strategies. As a developer, I didn't find it easy or intuitive to work with. I would say that it was probably the best that I had outside of what I've built for automation. So anyway, I've tried some different automation implementations, and I found some holes with each of them. The next thing that I wanted to try is what led to Profitable. And that is, so I wanted to have all of the tools that I've been using as a trader, the statistics, the indicators, the charts, the live data. I wanted to have it all on the same platform, and I don't want my automation having to go to different servers and to, be sent over the internet across the wire to be notified of something else and, then be pushed to the broker. I just wanted everything on one platform where it's happening sub-millisecond. It's watching the data and it just executes straight from the platform. And that's pretty much been the basis of Profitable since the beginning. It's going to be a long journey, but I needed all of my own tools in one platform. And that's why even the charts are not TradingView charts. They're custom charts, because TradingView did not fit my needs. And it still will not fit my needs. Even down to the data itself, TradingView is aggregated tick data. So it just doesn't fit my needs. And so now I will show the agent finally. The agent is the next evolution of the AI chat that was launched in Profitable back in December. And you've probably seen this before as a chat page. The chat page will be coming back. I've actually turned it off for now because the two can't really coexist very easily. And the reason that it's turned off for now is because this agent has a lot more capabilities, and I need to set some limits around some of them for token usage, for costs. And again, this is kind of going back to, I need to figure out what things cost. I need to figure out what I can, give for what I'm charging. But I can't just, eat AI tokens for everyone to run this as much as they want. So that's apparent. I will have to set limits on it. But there are also some, there's also an escape hatch for that, so that you can use your own subscription plan. You would be able to then just run it as much as you want. And so that will probably be an option for the starter plan sooner rather than later. So yeah, I will be rolling this out to all plans, not the free plan. Sorry. I cannot give this away for free, but it will be rolling out to all paid plans. So the agent is, if any of you have been following along in the OpenClaw stuff, I'm a contributor to OpenClaw. I've been working in the AI field, I think, for, 12 years now, mostly in healthcare, but I've been around AI technology for a while, teaching it how to do specific tasks, building specialized AI. And so I have some experience with this. I am not like just trying to strap on some nuts and bolts to ChatGPT and sell it to you guys. So this is a project I've been working on for maybe three months or so, but with the release of OpenClaw and me diving into the OpenClaw open source code, there were some really good parts of OpenClaw that I wanted to take into this project, and there were a lot of parts of OpenClaw that I think fit well for what they're trying to do with it. And for the record, I actually do like OpenClaw. I will continue contributing to OpenClaw, and I'm even going to continue using it because it is great for what it does. But I don't think it fits the bill exactly for trading. And at first I was really excited to help get everyone onboarded with trading, which we can still do. I have no problem running OpenClaw classes, or just streams, whatever, and help people build their own bots. But we'll kind of go through what I think the shortcomings of OpenClaw are as we're rolling through this agent. But suffice to say that this agent is more OpenClaw inspired than anything. The previous chat agent was more ChatGPT inspired, and so just being able to ask it simple things and like run reports, that's kind of ChatGPT type level of behavior. It's kind of like what the V1 of the AI agent was intended to be, and then from there, like, we would just take it a lot further. And so this agent is the start of that, taking it a lot further. So I guess the best way to kind of show what this agent is capable of, you've probably already been kind of watching these little bubbles go by. It gives you some ideas about things that it can do. It can pull, the best day of the week. It can tell you what the ES market looks like right now, so it does have live data access. It has access to your positions with your brokers that are connected to Profitable, so you can check, live positions and P&L. You can pull your journal entries. So it has a lot of built-in functionality specifically for Profitable, but also just general for the market. One of the things that I like to do as kind of a demo for this is, for the OpenClaw people, you tend to kind of like start your agent and then you kind of like guide it to becoming the type of trading agent that you want. And I like to do it kind of the same way here, except that this agent has a lot of base knowledge built in because it's the Profitable agent. It already has futures trading information. It has information about prop firms, different account sizes, different tickers, the spreads, the volatility. It has a lot of baseline information already. So unlike an OpenClaw agent, we don't actually have to turn it into a trading agent. We can pretty much just start going. And so one of the things I like to do with these agents is try to find strategies that I wouldn't think of on my own. Let's say one of the strategies that I like to take a look at is the mean reversion hour on GC around COMEX. I think it's the 820. So it's COMEX open. So I'll ask it, let's find a strategy for mean reversion hour on GC at COMEX open, and we'll send it that. And so what you'll start seeing is that it already has customized tools for the agent to be able to use Profitable. It can run reports, it can get statistics, all of that right here in the chat, and then it'll give you kind of the summary of everything that it found. And so it'll tell you the number of breakouts, how, the different hours, how many trades were taken, and just a lot of information about that one specific strategy. One thing I will do real quick, actually, we'll just continue to roll with this. So at the end of that summary, it will tell you some information. It'll give you some options like, would you like me to backtest this? Do you want to build a custom strategy that only trades Z1 targets? And that's because up here it identified the Z1 zone as a 90% win. If you're not familiar with that, I can kind of show that real fast. So this is the strategy that, when I say mean reversion hour, we have an indicator for that. If you add mean reversion hour, by default, it turns everything on. So if you set this to 8 o'clock, which would be the one we're looking at. All right. So now you can see we have these zones. There's like Z1, Z2, Z3. And basically, the idea is that it's kind of like an initial balance. So for the first hour, this initial balance sets, and then you take that range and you plot your zones off of it. And then you're basically waiting for it to hit a certain zone and then retrace back to this midpoint. That's the mean reversion hour strategy. The idea and the reason that it's like green then orange then yellow then red or whatever is that the further or the deeper you go into these zones, the less valid the idea of a retracement becomes. And so like once you're into this fourth zone or going through it, it's like, just scrap this. This is no longer a valid play. And there's nothing to say that you will not hit both sides of it. Like, that totally happens. There's statistics for it. There's a report specifically for mean reversion hour. So you can go in here and you can see, how it performs on every symbol, hour by hour, win rate. And so like right here, here's our 6 o'clock. Sorry, this is on ES. Let me switch this to GC. I'm looking for not 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. This doesn't seem right though. Did I mess something up? Oh, that's probably it. That still doesn't seem like the stat I was expecting. I don't know. Maybe that's right. I think it was something around 80%, something like that. Either way, so you can come here and you can look at this report, and then you can also use the indicator on the live page to see what we're talking about here for mean reversion. So I'm gonna say the next thing that I want to do is build a custom strategy that trades only the Z1 zone targets and backtest it. So it's going to tell you exactly what the strategy logic is. It's going to run a custom backtest against that logic. Custom backtests usually take a little bit because they have to be executed as as a custom run. This doesn't look like it worked though. Yeah, and again, beta feature, I'm still working on custom backtests. Most of the standard backtests are going to work just fine, but custom backtests are still a work in progress. So that's why it's coming back with zeros. If this were just a standard like IB or something, it would work, but yeah, there's something obviously being sent wrong with all of these. This one worked because it is just a standard breakout and a fade. So anyway, despite some of them aren't working, you can see that I asked it to create the strategy and backtest it. And so it went off and it created the strategy rules. It's sizing it appropriately for a 100K account. If you're wondering why a 100K account, that's because I've told it before that I'm trading a 100K Top Step account. So it already has that in memory. I didn't have to tell it again that I'm trading a 100K account. It wrote the strategy around what I'm trading with. So all this strategy logic, the risk, the win rate, the profit factor, everything is with that 100K account in mind. It goes back and it does the back testing. It's going to tell you where the stop loss and the take profit sweet spots are, where it saw the best win percentages. I don't expect these to be accurate given that some of our back tests failed. So there's probably even better win rates to be had than, some of these low win rates. So this would probably be better if the custom backtest was working. And then gives you some caveats and risks for this. Okay, so now we have this strategy. I think the next thing for me, so you could continue to work on this strategy more if you wanted. You could run more backtests. You could do something like this where you have event filtered backtests, so you exclude, FOMC and FP days. You could do time of day breakdowns so that like maybe you're cutting your trades before lunch. So you could just continue to work with the agent and refine this strategy more and more until you get the win rate, the P&L, and everything refined the way you want it. And then the next thing you're going to do is say, create a scanner condition for this strategy. And what that's going to do, and I'm going to, I just hit a rate limit error. Okay, apparently I have a rate limit for Profitable's key, and I didn't know that. All right, 1 second. I can fix that. Give me just a second. Okay, I'm back. So this is that escape hatch that we were talking about earlier. I just put in my personal Claude subscription code. So now I'm no longer using Profitable's API keys. I'm using my personal API key. And so this is where I was saying this would afford you a lot more expanded usage, because if you're paying $20 a month for a Claude subscription, you get way more tokens than I can get for $20 a month under Profitable's API cost. So now that I'm switched over to my personal, we'll just do the same thing again, create a scanner condition for this strategy. So you'll see that it's looking at the existing conditions. It's creating, I'll let it finish real quick before I try to read that. Okay, so it created two conditions, one for the fade to the downside and one for the fade to, I said that backwards, but one for the fade to the upside, which would be a short, and one for the fade to the downside, which would be a long. And so it'll give you the information for the conditions that it just created. When a condition fires, you will see the scanner detecting the breakout plus volume confirmation. The agent gets the alert with a market snapshot and all of the relevant data. It validates the setup against the criteria, and then if valid, it creates a trade intent long or short, and then you can approve or reject the intent. You also have this auto switch down here, which makes it so that everything is auto approved, and so you don't have to sit and watch. It tells you what the expected activity you would see on this one strategy. And so now you have next steps. You can wait for scanner alerts. You can create a paper trading timer, create a live trading condition with auto execution, which is what we just did. So it's interesting. It gave me that same option again. But anyway, so now that I've created a scanner condition, I can hop over to the conditions tab, and you can see these are all the scanners that I have running right now. If you're watching like these values, you can see that just changed from 2.35 to 2.34. So every condition here is being watched in real time. It's connected to the Profitable data stream, and this is, in my opinion, the biggest difference between Profitable and OpenClaw. So OpenClaw, everything that basically makes it feel like a personal assistant is running on crons, and crons are basically just a fancy way of saying a timer. You're telling it on a recurring basis, do this thing, or on a one-off basis, do this thing later. So, remind me on Friday of the weather, or, brief me every morning of my calendar. It's great at those things. But if you're doing something like trading, where you're like, watch the market every 30 seconds for this condition, or even every 2 minutes for this condition, running crons against AI gets extremely costly very fast. It's because you're prompting it with tokens every single time with the full context of the market and, everything that it needs to try to make the decision on whether or not that trade is valid. So the way that I'm taking a different approach with that at Profitable is that we have scanner conditions that are hooked straight into the data stream. It's waiting for the baseline condition of the strategy to be met. So like a volume surge at VWAP or, whatever. And then it will notify the agent at that time. So that's one call to the agent when the strategy is met instead of every 2 minutes. And then the agent would then at that point look at all the data that it has, the strategy, the market context, what the signal was that was sent, and decide whether or not this is valid for the strategy that you're trading. In the memory, it has semantic memory. So like, for example, it remembers all the trading patterns that you've gone through. It remembers all the strategies that it's run back tests on, even if those weren't strategies that you actually ended up using. It's going to remember them so that it can cross-reference them later. That way, if you end up running another mean reversion stat against silver or copper, it might just, without even being prompted, give you the comparison against gold. So it automatically remembers things. It starts putting weight context to them. And so over time, if you don't use them, these weights will start to degrade and come down. You can actually come back in here manually and promote these to be higher. So if you haven't used something for a while and you're like, you know what, I actually want to go back to using this, you can refresh it in the memory and have it kind of start referencing that a little bit, recently again. If there's something that got in here that you're like, please just stop saying this, like this is just wrong, you can delete it and just completely take it out of its memory. And then there are procedurals, so like it'll learn, like this was a learned procedure for how to do a VWAP third deviation reversal scan. And so this is a specific procedure for how it would do this again, because this was a custom scan. And we would have another one of these if the custom reports that it had just tried to run had succeeded. It would have saved the procedures for running those reports here. It logs everything that it does. So these are all the, well, this one here is not actually a condition. This is a scanner, and or not a scanner. This is a timer, and this is to show the difference of scanners to timers. So this timer is the VWAP third deviation scanner, and it basically only exists to send me a notification when this happens. And that is your schedule. That's the cron. And so that's to show this is what OpenClaw is doing. It's constantly just ping, 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 ping. It's constantly running up your tokens. And instead, what Profitable would be doing is just something like this, where you just see an agent response. It says the scanner ran, and then the time is cut off, so it wasn't permitted to enter. There should be other examples of that. Actually, I guess these are every 5 minutes, so that's the timer. Either way, so those are there. You would have the intents being logged, all the crons being logged, conditions being logged. So everything gets logged there, so you can go back and you can look at it later. If you want your agent to trade differently, like maybe, approach risk differently or decision making differently, there's a soul section that lets you kind of come in and customize trading philosophy, communication style, risk rules, custom instructions. And these will be put in every time it decides to make an intent, every time it tries to build a strategy. It will take into consideration any customizations that you've done here. And then under settings, you can see here, so like this is the API key, and right now, since I have my own API key in, I only have the option to remove it. But this is where you would come in and you would put in your own API key or setup token from Claude, the exact same thing you do in OpenClaw. You just paste that in here, and then the chat agent switches over to using your key instead of Profitable's key. And so at that point, I'm adding a usage tracker. Is it under billing? Yeah. So I'm adding a usage tracker where you will be able to see how many calls you're making and stuff. If you're using your own API key, this number doesn't go up. Like you're unlimited. Do all you want. I don't care how many times you hit the API. I only care about the cost of AI tokens. And so if you're using your own tokens, this won't even go up. You're then uncapped. You can chat with this agent to your heart's content. It lets you switch between different models, so you can use Sonnet, Opus, Haiku. I will be adding OpenAI potentially. I'm kind of keeping a close eye on which companies are supporting kind of this agent behavior and which ones aren't. Anthropic is kind of questionable at this point, just so you all know. So if you are putting your key in here, it's kind of a gray area right now as to whether or not they allow you to use it this way. I'm hoping that in the future, maybe they can get with the program and realize that if you're paying $200 a month for a subscription to tokens, it's just tokens. It really doesn't matter where the tokens are going, but whatever. And then there's a listing of all the tools that the agent has. So for example, if you want everything, but you're like, I really just am not interested in this thing trading, I just want the notifications, you can come in here and you can just shut off all the trading capabilities. And now it's not a trading bot. It's just a market data analytics and strategy bot. If you find that the knowledge base isn't useful to you and you want to give it a different knowledge base, like you want to just build your own in memory and point it to different websites, turn that off. It'll no longer refer to the built-in knowledge base. So this was kind of my attempt at giving, I think, what I want out of OpenClaw as a trading bot, but built into the platform. So you don't need a Mac Mini running for this. Your API keys and everything are stored in row-level security database the same way that everything else is in Profitable. So it's not just in a plain text markdown file sitting on a computer. So, like I said at the beginning, this is me kind of taking what I consider to be the best parts of OpenClaw, kind of the reactiveness, or not react, but the proactiveness of it, the personality of it, but trying to get rid of some of the security flaws of it, because the way that it's written isn't meant to be run as a secure platform like this. It's meant to be run as like an agent on someone's computer, and those two things are different. So OpenClaw is not going to walk everyone through setting up a database to store credentials securely, as an example. I don't have to walk you through setting up a database because Profitable already has one. And so I'm able to do things securely and still meet the same functionality as OpenClaw. One thing I forgot to mention is that these conditions are all running on Profitable servers. So when you create the condition, the conditions are being evaluated on the data server, and whenever the condition is met, the AI is engaged programmatically. So you don't even have to have Profitable open for these conditions to fire and for trades to happen. But there's one caveat to that, and that caveat is Project X. There is Project X integration in the platform, and it can auto trade Project X, but per Project X's terms of service, if you go to their website, it specifically states that any trades that are being executed via the API have to come from your IP address. And so we can't execute trades via Project X from Profitable servers, because then everyone would have the same IP address. Everyone would probably get banned. So the way around that is having having Profitable open on your computer. As long as you have Profitable open at this screen on your computer, then whenever a condition is fired, it will execute the Project X order from your browser, therefore your IP address. So everything else still happens on Profitable server. It will just be the Project X broker call that's happening on your browser from your computer. And that's so that it's compliant with their terms of service. If you're using the Trade-Evade integration that will be coming out, you won't even have to do that. You could just set all of your conditions and scanners, close Profitable, and come back at the end of the day and see how things went. The other thing that will be coming, or not even will be coming, it's already in it, is an integration for Telegram. So you can just add your bot token to Telegram, and the same way that you do with OpenClaw, you can chat with the agent outside of Profitable. And that won't even be a generalized agent. That will be your agent that you're chatting with, not just an agent for everyone, you would be able to chat via Telegram and ask it, what are my open positions? What's my P&L for the day? So this makes it so that you don't even actually have to use Profitable if you don't want to. You can actually just connect everything up to this agent and then chat with it via Telegram and automate everything via Telegram and never even log back into Profitable. So it's really a quite powerful thing. This is just the start of it. It will be getting better. So like you can very quickly ask it to do like orb backtest on NQ for the last 60 days. It will run reports, give you everything right there. It's very fast. Like I can't, if I went to try to go run an orb report right now, I can't do that fast. I could tell it to, then run an orb fade strategy on NQ to compare. So this is the fate of the orb instead of running the orb. And then it'll tell you, the fade strategy is a clear loser. Here's all the reasons. You can ask it to run it on a longer window. So we can go 90 days. Let's compare it on ES. So now we're comparing it on a different symbol. So it'll show you that NQ has more edge. It'll explain exactly why it thinks that NQ has more edge. It'll often explain things like the P&L may be higher on NQ, but the drawdown is tighter on ES, and so it fits better for your 100K account. It'll often give takeaways like that. So again, like we're not even really trying to build a strategy here, but it's very easy to just sit here and add a time of day filter to this orb, find which hours drive edge. And so then it's going to try to run a custom back test, which may or may not work. And then come back with revised stats for that. I don't know if these are working or not. And obviously, those actually did work. Out of anything that I would be showing, I think the custom backtests are probably the biggest functionality. And it's the newest functionality to the backtesting engine. The backtesting engine has existed for a while because it runs off the reporting engine. And if you look at the marketing page, it's like number 2 on the bullet points that the backtesting engine would be coming. The reason that we don't have backtesting in Profitable, despite we have the engine, is because building the UI for backtesting is a lot harder. To let people, backtest reports in custom ways and give them controls for adjusting the hours of the day that report's running on and not making it just a giant form is actually kind of a challenge. And so this is kind of one of the ways that the agent is coming in to kind of save the day, because it can take advantage of the backtesting engine. It can actually give it specific signal codes that give it an entry and an exit condition and multiple conditions, and then run the backtest against the engine on all the report data. And like I said, just building a UI for it is much harder than having the agent just drive it. And so being able to just tell the agent, add a time of day filter, and then find which hours drive edge is crazy powerful compared to how you would probably have to drive this in Profitable's UI. So anyway, it ran that. You get, the full day edge is not driven by later entries. It's front loaded at the open. 10 to 11 o'clock is the worst window to open. 11 o'clock plus entries just add losing noise. So the implied best window is the breakout at 10 open. And now we can backtest the orb with the hard 10:15 cutoff just to confirm the edge improvement. So the one thing I will point out, because it hasn't, oh wait, no, maybe it did, maybe it's about to, I don't know. The one thing I was going to point out, because it hasn't, is we only have 4 trades across 60 days and then 2 trades across 60 days. So obviously those aren't good sample sizes. I'm not taking these stats and going to go create a strategy with it. I would probably ask it, like 2 to 6 trades is not a large enough sample size. How can we increase the sample size, loosen the restrictions, or further look back? All right, so it came back with some suggested ways to improve that sample size. I'm just going to tell it run all combinations to find the best edge. Oh, we're still only seeing 6 trades across 180 days. I'm guessing it's because of the 10:30 cutoff, right? So that only gives it an hour, or no, that only gives it 30 minutes to get in. It has to get in between 10 and 10:30. I mean, either way though, I don't love that it's not trading that often, but that is kind of the beauty of automation, is I can just take a bunch of strategies like this that don't trade often, but when they do, they hit really well, and just let them run. I don't have to keep it in my mind every day. I don't have to check it every day. I don't have to look for it every day. It'll just be here running as a condition. And it might only trade 7 times in 6 months, but if it doesn't lose and it makes money when it does it, who cares? So that's kind of how I'm going to be looking for strategies using the reporting engine, turning them into scanner conditions, and looking to kind of automate the setups that I'm looking for moving forward. Because I do mostly trade IB, mean reversion, and sometimes overnight. So like you'll see in the overnight, I do have some Asia range breakouts set for GC. Something that is kind of cool, I think, also about these is you can then come over to the chat and be like, can you remind me the strategy rules for this condition? And so it pulled that from memory. Here's the rules for that strategy. And there's the back test that it ran. So it keeps all of this in memory. You'll always be able to go back and just say, like, why am I running that scanner? And it'll tell you exactly why you started running that. Here's the position sizing, here's the rules and filters, backtest performance, the whole thing that you went through in a previous session. You could ask it to then, run a fresh 90-day breakout test, back test if you found that things are changing, this condition's not working as well anymore. Yeah, so this is how I'm gonna be building my strategies and refining them moving forward. Even if I have this auto switch off, just having notifications come to me when my conditions are being met in the market is going to make my trading a lot easier, because I don't have to sit and watch the charts constantly. And you might ask, how is that different from alerts? I can't build the same complex alerts in most cases on TradingView. I've tried, and I always just end up abandoning using alerts. So that's just me. Okay. I think I've covered mostly everything in the agent. I'll open the floor to any questions about it before I move on. So the question is the agent going to be an add-on for the starter plan or only in the pro plan? Initially, it is going to only be in the pro plan, and that is because I just need to monitor the cost of it. I need to figure out how to roll it back in a cost-effective way to other plans. The other reason for that is that it has options data access already, so when it's trading, it'll be looking at like GEX regimes and things like that. So if you want access to it now, the only way to get access to it now is the pro plan until I can start separating some of those things. I need to be able to tell the agent, if you're only on the starter plan, that you only have access to so many tokens and you only have access to live futures data but not options data. And as of right now, it doesn't have that capability. It's just all in. So that's why. Do you need to be running your own OpenClaw server to leverage the agent? No. Everything is all on Profitable's infrastructure, so you don't need anything running. The MCP integration that I will also briefly cover, you would use that for your OpenClaw agent. But yeah, this is a completely custom agent separate from OpenClaw. Very heavily inspired by. Yeah, so the agent did pass a 100K account, and it put it into XFA. I did get a little bit impatient last week because I started doing changes to the agent to move it from OpenClaw into this platform. And so I started trading it like a dumb last week and blew the XFA because I'm not as good of a trader as the agent most of the time, especially during consolidation. And it seemed like last week, every time I tried to trade, it would do the thing that I was expecting, like go in the direction I was expecting, and then just turn around and go right back to where it was, and then turn right back around and do the thing that I was expecting again. So yeah, last week was a thing. Okay. I let's see. Let me check my Will the API allow the profitable agent to interact with my local Python algos and dashboard program? Kind of. So I would say I would say yes, but not directly. I'm trying to think about it. So there's nothing that would prohibit you from doing that. Um, there's not currently a direct API to talk to the agent, though I guess I could add that. There's no reason I couldn't. Where my mind was going was that, like, if I had an OpenClaw agent that was running local Python scripts and, whatever, I would just have those two agents chat with each other. So, like, the profitable agent, say you're hooked up to Telegram, the profitable agent sends you a message that it's thinking about a trade intent, and then your OpenClaw agent picks that up, runs it through your local Python algorithms, and then sends back the yes or no to the profitable agent. So that's just me kind of like loosely thinking how that would work with what exists, but the direct execution of Python code wouldn't be possible. So it would be something that you're running on your end that then communicates back to the agent, if that makes sense. The plans are already live. So the question there is, when are the plans going live? The pro plan is live, and the updated starter plan is live. And I'm going to use the word should, but theoretically, if you're a pro plan user, it should turn on all of these options right away. So you would have access to the options, the agent. You should even have access to, I mean, I'm not gatekeeping anything on the pro plan. So there's just a flag that's, if you're a pro plan user, you're added to a segment, and then that segment gets access to every flag that's currently being hidden because it's in development or not. So things like sync Tradeovate is here. You'd be able to connect your Tradeovate account and start syncing automatically your journal entries every day as you're trading. So this is something that is going to come out soon to all accounts, but while it's still in development, it would be available to pro plan users because it's in beta and it's in development. So that's just kind of another perk of the pro plan, is that you get access to everything before it's pushed out to the public, for better or worse. I mean, if you sync using that and it either doesn't work or it syncs incorrectly, then that's because it's a beta thing that's still being developed. I will be trying to do my best to mark those things with beta like this, so that you know when you're using a beta offering. And then in the future, there will be a tab here where you can opt in and out of certain beta features. So say like you're here on this live page and I haven't added the option to hide these gex levels, and you just absolutely hate them, then you would be able to go into your settings and opt out of that feature. So the question is, checking the MCP and it looks like it only has access to IB and orb reports. Is that how it will be, or shouldn't be the case? So the MCP will also be getting updates as the agent gets updates. I don't know about the custom reports. I don't know if I can. I'll have to think about that. It's not like I don't want to give you custom reports. It's more like I don't know if I can give your agents instructions on how to write custom reports without owning the code of the agent. So I'll think about that. But all the other reports, the standard reports that are unprofitable, will be added to the MCP. And so, speaking of the MCP, the agent is a consumer and a user of the MCP. So when it's running the IB and the orb reports, it's using the MCP. That's intentional, so that as I continue to add new functionality, new reports, they will not only be available to the agent. That way we're not leaving your agents behind. They should have similar functionality following right behind, if not at the same exact time. The custom reporting is a special case because it's actually running directly on the relay server. And so the agent has a custom reporting key where it can send a custom report to the server to be executed. I don't know, like I said, if I can open that up to the MCP, but I will look into it. But all the other reports will be coming. And so for anyone who doesn't know, MCP server is basically just a way to give your OpenClaw agent all the tools that it needs to be able to use Profitable. So it comes with a base set of instructions for running reports, for trading, for referencing the knowledge base, for looking at your journal and pulling your statistics. It has all the instructions for doing that. Maybe they're not all working yet because it's coming out today, but over the next month or so, I will be adding more and more and making sure those are all working, using the agent as my primary driver of doing so. So, yeah. And the MCP access, that will be included in all plans. So whether you're a live plan or a starter plan or the pro plan, you will have access to build your own automation agent. So if you're wanting to do that with OpenClaw using your own AI subscription, your own tokens, I don't care. You can hit the Profitable API as much as you want, run as many reports as you want. Terabytes costs like 20 cents. So I don't care. You can hit the API as often as you want. The only thing that actually costs real money is the AI tokens. And so I will be putting restrictions around the token usage on Profitable's AI token or API key. All right. I think, how much is an AI token? What do you mean by that? Like, how much is a subscription? So the AI token cost is dependent upon the it's the cost by the provider. In this case, it's Anthropic or Claude Code. So I don't actually get to pick what that costs. I wish I did because it's expensive and it's going to get more expensive. But like, for example, down here over the last 30 days, which has only been 4 days, this is the estimated cost of sending 77 messages to the Profitable API. And so it's not nothing. Like if you're sitting here sending 200 messages because you're just sitting there chatting with it all day, you can very quickly run up $20 in a day. And so you can see why I can't just roll this out to everyone and hope for the best. I've got to get the cost of this correct. But what I was showing earlier is that if you go to Anthropic and you get your own API key, so if you get like their subscription for $20 a month or $100 a month or $200 a month, they have different plans that give you different token allowances. Those token allowances are often much heavier subsidized than the per token cost that Profitable is paying as an API user. So if you go get a $20 a month plan, it's probably more equivalent to $100 a month of API usage at Profitable. If you get a $200 a month plan, it's insane how much more usage you're going to get out of that. So right now where you see my API key is active, that's me using my personal Anthropic account, and the agent is using that subscription for all of its calls. So when that's the case, this no longer accumulates costs. You're no longer tracked for usage. You can now use the agent to run as many reports as your to your heart's content. So just that's another kind of escape hatch option. And like I said earlier, if anything comes to the non-pro plans sooner than later, it will be this, where you can bring your own key and just get access to it. But there will probably still be some add-on charge to the agent. I'm still trying to figure all that out. That's one of the points of the pro plan, is just bypass it, because now if you're paying for the pro plan, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm pricing things right. We just price the pro plan to make sense, and I can give you access to all of it. Okay, I think other than the MCP, which is just a website, I'm not going to show that because I would have to sit here and create another source in OBS, but it's profitable.ai. There's a website there for agents. You should be able to point your OpenClaw agent at it. When I roll out the access to the starter plan, you will be able to come into your settings, go to integrations, and you will be able to generate a profitable agent API key. And so you would just tell your OpenClaw agent, go to profitable.ai and use the MCP server. It's going to tell you that you need an API key to use it. This is where you get it. Give it that API key, and you should be off to the races. You can then start pulling reports and everything that you can do on Profitable. So that's the plan for the MCP. I don't think this is visible for everyone right now, but it will be coming. I'm going to be rolling this out to all the plans, so not just the pro plan. All the plans will have access to this. I think that's all of the new stuff that's coming out. So the pro plan has access to all of that today. In the next month or two, I will be continuing to build on these features while also trying to figure out, I guess, kind of the price points for all of it. For example, we were showing the options stuff earlier. I think we all know there's a product out that's popular right now that costs a lot of money for just this view alone. I can tell you, I'm not going to be charging that. I will probably never charge that much for a single screen on Profitable. So that's kind of the idea of the pro plan. Is I know I'm building things that are worth more than what I'm charging currently. I don't want to charge as much as some of my competitors, but I know I need to charge more. And so the pro plan is my attempt to hit a price point that makes sense and will continue to make sense. And I think for that price point, I can continue to just build and give whatever is asked for. So the Gex options feature, I'm not really much of an options trader, so this is almost an entire module built by request and demand. A lot of users have been asking for this that don't want to pay a ton of money for the alternative product, and so I am doing my best to meet that demand, which is what I will continue to do at Profitable. I'm building the tools that I want, trying to build the tools that you want, and hopefully we can all build something that helps us all trade. And that is something that I'm looking forward to from the pro users as well, is that if you're getting in on early features like, these options levels, I would be looking for your feedback to say like, hey, this differs a lot from data I'm looking at somewhere else. And then, maybe we can get into the nitty gritty as to like why that is. If Profitable's not doing it as well, like how could we make it better? Because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make the tool more accurate and better for us to use. I'm not, my ego's not wrapped up in this. I'm not trying to be like, oh, my Gex levels are better than, no. Like, if I'm not doing it right, then I'm not doing it right. So I want the community's feedback on that. I'm trying to build the best tool, not be right all the time. Okay, yeah, so I think that's all the new features. I am actually going to take a break, and I don't know if I want to come back and do another live stream for the full walkthrough of the platform, or if I'm just going to record that and put that on YouTube. I'll actually just put a poll. I'll put a poll in general if I should run that live or if I should just record it. But before I wrap up, did anyone have any more questions about the pricing plans, the new features, roadmap, anything else that I can help answer about what's going on at Profitable? I also have YouTube going somewhere. Okay, there's no chat in YouTube. Good. I just remembered that I had YouTube stream going, so I didn't know if anyone was chatting there. Okay. And there's one more thing I'm going to do real quick. Okay, so I ran a random number generator. At that time, we had 11, now we have 10. So I don't know, did that mess it up? Nope, still the same person. All right, so the random number was 8. I was going to go left to right. So EC, I'm giving away a coupon for a free month of Pro to you. I was going to do that unannounced here at the end of the stream for whoever was still here, just doing one giveaway. So if you could DM me your email and I will get that set up for you. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up here, guys. I will run that poll to see if I should jump back on and do the full walkthrough live or if I should just record it and post it. And I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
I enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy hurting people. That's what I do for a living. That's what all you guys come to watch me hurt people. That's what I like to do. I hurt people.
Okay, off top I'm flexing, Midwest I'm repping. Push me towards an
image, but I feel like they stretching. Catchphrase pressing, make believe intentions. Competition so thick, all I'm feeling is the tension. So focused on dimensions, we forgot the message. That don't make no sense, like professors with no lesson. Plans I'm just betting, my mind needs some cleansing. Well, leave this shit alone, but believe me, y'all been tempted. Won't say that I'm the best out, but y'all can work harder. Been in a dream and get stronger, wake up when I wanna. Cause right now I'm the author, and you are all the readers. And this is what it sounds like when the student becomes the teacher.
Learn something.
So get with it, been itching to get this out. I've been tripping, I need this song, it's my mission. Got nothing but good intentions. A glitch in the system, I plan accordingly. Missing the bitchin' about who you isn't. Nah, I ain't with that. So keep it moving, that was really soothing. Back to low key, no stress, prop cruising. The beats I weave through them, the beats I bleed to them. The peace of mind I get from this music gets me through it. Influenced by the good vibes and the good times. Experience some good highs, but you could die at any minute. So I live it up and kick it hard. Before I do all that, I'll introduce myself. I'm Rob Course.
Yeah, let me flip it up on him real quick. Come on.
I don't really wanna go back to the old way.
Always been so positive,
but everybody got so cynical. It's hard for me to vibe with them or ride with them. They live in a lie. I see the disguise when I look in the eyes. Feel sorry for some of them running around, deaf, dumb, and very blind. I'm just so connected. By that I mean grounded. My Rolodex thin, but my people got pound signs. Please don't ask how I or the who, where, what, whys. This one's for them bitch asses who think that they tough guys. Talk is getting cheaper. Most of the time it's free. Don't follow up on the things you say. You are no good to me. The one they call improbable, cause there's no guarantees. Moment of silence for the beats on this CD. May they rest in peace.